Alrighty, so I just got done with Tom Meyer's Intro Anatomy Trains Structure and Function course, which, given the current situation, was done online, but was still pretty awesome. So I was just going to go through some of the big ideas from that weekend. Obviously, if you want the super technical scientific stuff, you can go straight to him and learn from him. I highly recommend the book itself and taking the course with him. But just going to go over some bigger overarching ideas that I'm sort of bringing into my own training. So this first idea here is tensegrity, which is basically having these struts or compression members floating in a sea of tension. So if you're not an architect, basically what that means as far as the body goes is that we have skeletal struts, bones, that are floating in the tension of our myofascial web, our muscles and our fascia. Tom makes the great point that if you look at a skeletal model from any of your anatomy classes, the skeleton does not stand up on its own. In fact, it's usually held together with pins between the joints, and it's usually hanging. So normal traditional anatomy makes the argument that the skeleton is a sort of freestanding piece of architecture on top of which the muscles are then draped and basically only act to move those skeletal members. And Tom argues that no, actually the muscles and the fascia actually have just as important a role in the architecture or the posture of our bodies, because they create the tensional web within which our bones float. Okay? So the reason this is super important as far as training goes is because it tells us that the balance in our muscles and our fascia is super important to keeping good alignment. And alignment is a nice foundation for any kind of movement. So anytime we get imbalanced, which obviously can happen throughout lifestyle, just spending a lot of time driving or sitting, we're getting very contracted in the front, what Tom would call the superficial front line, and getting lengthened in the back, that posterior chain or the superficial back line, then we are setting ourselves up. All of our bones are now being essentially curled inward and forward like we're moving into the fetal position. And it doesn't take... it's very easy to see that sort of curled inward position that we've become habituated to is not a powerful, aligned position. So basically what we're trying to do is recognize that, like the hippie said, everything is connected, but we're also trying to get a little bit more scientific with it as far as the training goes, and seeing how addressing these certain main pathways, these certain connections of muscles and fascia in the main regions of our body can help create a better balance in our structure.